What's going on, Beaches? Welcome to the Daily Swole podcast, episode 2693. It's your host, Papa Swollio, Wednesday, September the 20th. Today's Swole Fam Spotlight is from Tabitha, and Tabitha writes, "Hey fam, I've been a member since last August. I haven't introduced myself yet due to being very introverted. My name is Tabitha, and I'm 34 years old. I was pretty active growing up, and in college, I did a belly dance as a hobby, which kept me active until my class went their separate ways. I started gaining weight steadily over the years, was diagnosed with PCOS about 6 years ago, which explained a lot of what was happening with my body. However, the doctors were not very helpful and just prescribed various medications that masked the symptoms. One doctor told me I needed to lose weight, but since I have PCOS, it would be impossible. It wasn't encouraging and made me angry. I understood that I needed to lose weight, but did not like being told that it would be impossible. At this time, I was having a hard time keeping up with my active friends and decided to make a change. I started with a boot camp in my neighborhood, and it was a good start, helped me get down a routine of eating better and exercising daily. Also, everyone at the boot camp was supportive. Even though I enjoyed the boot camp, something was missing. Then one day I saw an advertisement for Swolenormous on Facebook or Instagram, and I checked out the website and podcast and realized this was the missing piece. I signed up and was excited to see the content available. The yoga, the kitchen, instructional videos. It took me a bit to get going, but I am now finishing week 8 of the 90-day dash, and I've lost 15 pounds so far, and I feel great. Papa Swollio and the Swole Fam are amazing. I love you guys. The experience of being part of the Swole Fam has been a serious game changer, not only with my physical form, but for my thoughts and emotions. Listening to the podcast and reading posts from the fam has helped keep me grounded and focused. I'm grateful I found Swolenormous and look forward to this journey into a better life and, of course, making sick fucking gains." Making those gains. Don't you love those doctors? Don't you just love those doctors? Well, it's going to be impossible because you have this issue. Well, maybe that issue is caused by lifestyle habits. Maybe that issue is caused by insulin resistance. Maybe lifestyle changes can improve the situation dramatically, as Tabitha has been experiencing. So that's where you start. You start with the things you can control, and that's your habits. That's your 7 pillars. So thank you, Tabitha, for sharing. If you are ready to join the Swole Fam, Tabitha, myself, and the rest of the amazing members, go to swolenormousx.com and join the Swole Fam today. We are waiting for you. We're ready for you, but we're not, I should say we're not waiting. We're moving on. We're crushing it every day. So the train is leaving you behind if you don't jump on the Swole Fam. So don't keep pushing off your future self. Stop making excuses. Join us today, swolenormousx.com. And now on to episode 2693. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the show, and leave us a 5-star review if you listen on Spotify, Apple Podcast, anywhere you bang your ear holes. Make sure you subscribe to the show and share with your friends. Hit the thumbs up button, and let's fucking go. The following program is rated TV MANOC. It contains a big pair of nuts directly on your chin. It is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised. What the fuck is going on?
So much internalized fat phobia, self-objectification, and racism, and all of the things.
Shut up.
Misogyny.
Holy shit.
Obesity is epidemic in the United States and a major cause of death.
What is fat activism?
I, a fat person, am sharing my own lived experience.
Pizza is a vegetable.
Your fat phobia is your problem.
It is not my place as a smaller-bodied white man to comment on it.
Radical body positivity.
What can men do against such reckless hate?
There's only one man who can help me.
This is for you new people. I only have one rule. Everyone fights, no one quits.
This day we fight!
Full Normuth.
The
sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing, testing. Testicles. Welcome, everyone, to episode 2693 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beercast, broadcast, gangcast, mancast, pimpcast, sleazecast, and slaycast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex. We all flex our biceps. So what's going on? Beaches, booshes, bustas, hustles, and yo hoes. It's your boy Papa Swollio back with another episode. And today's episode of the Beastcast is brought to you, is sponsored by Everston K2 flexing on all you beaches.
It's the fucking Catalina wine mixer.
It's the fucking Catalina wine.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Welcome. Come one, come all. Hit the thumbs up button live on the YouTubes and all the channels. So let's jump into it. We'll get into that tip in just a second. We got a bunch of things to talk about, but drop in the comments. What are you smashing today? Welcome Carson, Loretta, Tiff, Matt the Great. Went to war with my clubs and maces this morning, and I won. Very nice, very nice. Get a little golf clap for you. Welcome in the Daily Swole Telegram. How we doing, Matthew, Bex, Amanda, Alan? All right, drop in the comments. What are you smashing? Let's summon the Falcon. Let's get the Swole card exposed. You're going to love this one. It's a classic. It's a standard. You'll love it. You know you'll love it. Here we go, beaches. Falcon. We got a great show today. Stoked. All right, we got the Swole Fam card, hashtag Swole Fam in the comments, and a lot of you have been stoked about the brand new Swole Fam project that we announced Monday during the accountability meeting. Now, there has been a little bit of an update because some people have updated us that they're just not in the Facebook group or they don't have Facebook anymore. So I wanted to make sure that everyone that wanted to submit a story would be able to. So I decided to make one simple place that everyone can send in their emails and their pictures. You can attach pictures in the email and stuff like that. So hashtag SwoleFam for a chance to win today's Swole card. But if you, and again, this means that you don't have to necessarily be an official member. You can still submit your story, because maybe you listen to the podcast. Maybe you've been listening to the podcast for 6 years or 7 years or something like that, and you have a story to share. So go to your email and send us an email with the pictures if you want to submit pictures to team@swolenormous.com. Submit your story, and we'd love to hear from you. And I'm going to give you, we're going to have a little bit more of a prompt here with the images, because I want to know how you came across the Swole Fam, how you joined Swolenormous X, what your story is, your background in terms of, just tell us. Some people have the story of, they've been overweight since they were little, they went through this, just give us a little bit of your background when it comes to the 7 pillars, and then how you came across the Swole Fam and what your experience has been and what your challenges have been that you've overcome, and so on and so forth. So team@swolenormous.com, just send in that email and you can submit pictures. We'll have some more details probably Friday during the show. I'll get a little bit more details on the screen of what you can do to submit. But team@swolenormous.com, just send in your email to team@swolenormous.com, and then anyone can send in their story, and you don't have to worry about going in the Facebook group, because a couple people were like, I don't have Facebook anymore. I got rid of my Facebook. So we do Telegram. in the Swole fam. That's where most of the action is, just because I think it's the easiest, and plus people don't really get bogged down by Telegram. You're not getting the same kind of social media. It's just literally chat. So the Telegram's going all day long and all night long because we have people from all over the world. And of course, I just think it's a little bit of a better way to do it. I'll probably pin a post or pin something in the Telegram chat, in the Swole fam Telegram chat, and I'll probably have a link or something on the site and email people. I'll be letting you guys know a little bit more details on that, but team@swolenorberts.com is where you can send in your Swole fam project emails. All right. Excellent. Yeah, certainly couldn't find it in Facebook. It disappeared. Well, we edited the post. So it refers to the email, but this image needs to have the breakdown of all that. So we're going to have a page for it. Fam. Hold on a second. Swole fam. Okay. So, T-Bone Capone just made the kids breakfast. 2 toddlers smashed 5 pasture-raised eggs and half a pound of beef bacon. Oh my goodness. Wow. That is the sign to get into that tip. Everyone, moisturize and let's spin on it. It's time for a great show. Cool. Babe, just an inch. It's cold outside. All right, so we'll keep on updating you. The Swole Fam project is something that's going to be ongoing, so we'll update you. We're probably going to make a web page for that. That way you can see all the information, then there'll be prompts to open your email and stuff like that. So we'll probably make a web page and then have it in one spot. That way anyone can do it. That way you don't have to worry about the groups or Telegram or anything. You go to the site and then it's fine. So I'll send out that link, so don't worry. Let's get into... We're gonna evolve that. Let's get into a couple announcements. On Monday, we dropped some new merch. 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, we had a Forest Pump design. I just filmed some videos with it. This is an awesome design. I love it. I got the light blue t-shirt. It's awesome. Use code Daily Swole for 10% off over at papaswollio.com. Great design, Forest Pump. We also have a college text. Fuck your resolutions. Excellent. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. Fuck your resolutions. We know that season's starting in like 10 days. So October 1st, it's fuck your resolution season. It's going to go off the charts. I'm going to be going super hard. And of course, we got a Rick and Morty design. Go to the fucking gym. I think that is excellent as well. Any Rick and Morty fans out there? That's for you. Or do you know someone that's a Rick and Morty fan? Because it is holiday season. So, you know, we got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of stuff going on. Get those gifts in ahead of time so you don't have to wait till last minute. Swole Fam Roundtable, number 52, tomorrow. Tomorrow's episode will be private for members only. Thursday, September the 21st, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Private episode. So if you're not a member, you'll miss out on that. But conversation goes from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Tomorrow, the 21st, Roundtable. Awesome. 52. It's going to be lit. And of course, last but not least, we have the Signature Series P3S8 drops in just 7 days. P3S8 going down. All right. 927. Episode 2700 is coming up. It's right around the corner. It's right around the fucking corner.
What's in the box?
All right, first Swole Fan post of the day is from Leslie. Hey, all, about to get into my workout for the day. I'm doing the 90-day dash. I'm on day 2 of Primer Week. Total body awareness. 2 of the exercises are push-up type exercises. I suck at push-ups and I've always have to put my knees down. That's what she said. I guess she did say that.
No need to stop being a lady. Quit worrying. You'll be back on your knees in no time.
Would it be beneficial? I have to have the soundboard for that. Would it be beneficial to do the resistance band around the arms hack? Or would that take away from the benefit of doing push-ups? The resistance band around the arms hack in order to do what? To make it harder for you to push up even though you're from your knees? The whole point is for you to do a push-up. So I don't want any hack that's going to allow you to drop to your knees. So 2 of the exercises are push-up type exercises. Do them from your toes. Just elevate the surface. So do them on a bench. If you go more vertical up into like on a the side of a table. Make sure the table's secure, or chairs, or a bench, or the edge of your bed, or a couch. If you elevate, you'll be able to keep your body straight. And as you get stronger, you'll be able to go more horizontal. In my opinion, the last thing you want to do is drop to your knees. You don't want to drop to your knees. The form is always terrible with the knees. First, you're on your knees. So that's uncomfortable for a lot of people. But the butt starts driving back in the air. It's the same reason why when you do pull-ups, it's better to do negatives to learn how to do a full pull-up rather than use one of those pull-up assist machines or strap a band around your feet. I'm not saying those don't help, but there's a more efficient way to target the muscles with your body weight. You can progress a lot better by strengthening the muscles in their strongest aspect of the strength curve with the eccentric contraction. So I would recommend that. Leslie, if you also want to take a picture of what you are referring to with the resistance band around the arms, because if you go around your arms, obviously it's going to make it harder to push up. So I'm not sure if you're saying drop to your knees, but then do that to make it more challenging. I would rather you regress the exercise and do it on an elevated surface. That way you can keep your body flat and perform the exercise appropriately. And then as you get stronger, you'll be able to progress and go more horizontal. All right. Lindsay. Ooh, Lindsay, you got something special. Lindsay got something special in her hands, and it's not what you think it is. No, fam, it's not that. Lindsay has a fuck average mug. Ooh, that's a nice mug. I heard when you put coffee in this mug, it comes out better than when you put it in. That's what she said. It absolutely does. Delicious. Fantastic. Good for you. Good for you. Love that. Love that mug.
Coffee's for closers only.
Remember, coffee's for closers only. Coffee's for closers. All right. Good stuff. We should do that on social media, or we should be posting up everyone's mugs. I mean, I don't have my I'm washing those, but I have my classic New York City mug. I love this. Mimics the paper cups that were popular in New York City. I don't know if they still do this. Do they still have these mugs or these like paper cups in New York City? They did in the 80s when I grew up there. So I like these when I saw these online. But we should show we should take pictures. We should take selfies like of the mugs every day. That should be like a standard. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that with a mug, a nice steaming, piping hot mug, and then do like a quote picture or something. There's a vacuum in the background, but I didn't want to put off the show. So we'll have to deal with it. So apologies if it's coming through on the audio, but we'll deal. You'll be all right. We'll be all right. Let's see. Matt says, I thought Swole mugs were for vegan tiers only. Well, coffee and vegan tiers. You got to get your electrolytes in. So I'm not trying to restrict people from getting their electrolytes in. Andrew says, can I put tea in that mug? Tea bags are fine. Tea bags are fine. You could definitely do that. We like tea bags. Tea bags are good. I'm not against it. Lindsay's like, look, I'm down for a selfie. All right. Michelle says, you guys, I just got out of my Krav Maga class. I used to have to stop every few minutes. This time it was a huge difference. This was one of those examples of not realizing your progress until you happen to do something that was a huge struggle. This is a turning point. This is a turning point for Michelle. Everyone has that. Everyone has that at some point. You go to pick up groceries, or you go to pick up your kid, or you go to pick up, like I was saying the other day, right? Luggage from the turnstile or something, or you went to lift your luggage in your car and you're thinking, okay, do I normally put the same amount in? It's lighter now. There's just something that's going to happen to you where you're like, oh, I used to hurt when I did this. Oh, my knees used to hurt when I walked down the stairs. And all of a sudden you realize, wait a second, I don't have pain. Holy shit. So if you have that experience, you could drop that in the comments, but that there's always going to be that turning point where suddenly you notice it with the elimination diet, with nutrition, with sleep. All of a sudden you realize, wait, it almost catches you by surprise. Wait, didn't I used to have a problem doing this? Yup. That's awesome. Good for you. Good for you. And we got a great gym pick. Love some gym picks. Gets me hot. Mish says, taking a moment after my gym sesh this morning to appreciate how I am working my way up to the heavier weights. I started on the small rack of 1 to 10 kilograms, and now more often than not, I'm grabbing some of them off here. So proud. Let's fucking go. Niche making some gains. Making some gains. All right, fam. Time for some knowledge cock. All right. Time for that KC. Let's fucking go. All right. If you got questions, drop in the comments. Hashtag Ask Papa Swollio. Moving right along, making gains, taking names. So if you have questions, hashtag APS, hashtag Ask Papa Swollio, and let's get it on. All right, first one. We get a lot of questions from this one individual, but they've been unique questions. Kara Alexis 03, Papa Swollio, how can I get rid of chin fat? I've always had it as a child and at a healthy weight. Well, just to be honest, it's an Instagram question. That's your perspective. So I don't know what you consider a healthy weight. It's not really the weight that's important. It's the body fat percentage. So a lot of people are at a, quote, healthy weight, but they have very low muscle mass. So it really has nothing, the weight has nothing to do with it. It's body fat composition. It's body composition. So, I mean, there are genetics that are involved. Some people just have, I don't know, extra skin or something around the neck. So maybe some things can't be changed without surgery. Everyone's different. People have different bone structures in terms of shape, different facial structures, different skin tones. I mean, we're all a little bit different. So genetics does play a role in some of these things, but I don't know what you're eating. I don't know what your habits are. Just to be honest, chances are you're not following the 7 pillars to a T, and there's things you could do to improve. I'm not saying that would remove your chin fat, but very likely there are many things that you can do to improve your endocrine system and toxins in your environment and sleep and training and lifting heavy and all that stuff. All right. Jake Hockey 06. Let's see. Papa Swollio, ever think about opening your own gym? I have in the past. A gym. It wasn't a lifting. I mean, it was a kickboxing studio. This is back in the day. But opening my own gym, I have it here. I brought the gym to the house. Some people have home gyms. I have a gym at home. So that's been the transition. I used to talk about building the home gym, and then I started getting like commercial equipment. Now I have like an entire gym at home. So there's a difference between home gym and a gym at home. I have a gym at home. So thinking about opening my own gym, not really. Like, actually, no. I mean, I've thought about it, but every time I think about it, it's usually like a fuck no. So what I might do in the future, if we moved or went somewhere else, I would build like a barn and I would have my own gym, but I wouldn't have memberships. So another option was like, if I knew I wanted to, I'm not sure 1,000% if we're going to be in this area. So it's like, hey, I can look and get a warehouse, but then it kind of, it defeats the purpose. It defeats the purpose of having the convenience of having a gym at home, because then you got to spend thousands of dollars a month, have insurance. And not only that, there's certain regulations. If I want to open up to a gym, I can have a club and have people come over and use it. But the whole point of me having this kind of stuff is like, so it's mine. I can have it where I want it. I don't want to have members. I don't want to deal with that shit. So the answer is absolutely not, but I have thought about it. But if anything, it would just be, where can I have space to put my stuff and then get more stuff and get more machines? Because I need more space now. I need more space. I do have a little bit more space, but I've kind of like cooled off with getting more things. But having a home gym or having the gym at home is the benefit. If I go and move it somewhere else, then it's like, I may as well just go to a different gym. But yeah, I've thought about it, but I don't understand why people want. Everyone's different. I mean, we need gyms for people, so there's no worries if someone wants to open the gym. Respect. Just all the things that go into like running a gym, especially if you have memberships and things like that. You can have a club and you could be a member if it's private, and then you don't have to have the same types of regulations. But if you actually open a gym where you have people coming in, then you have specific bathrooms, and separate bathrooms, and I don't know, now you need like 10 different bathrooms depending on what you got between your legs or what you think you have between your legs.
Boys have a penis, girls have vagina.
Who knows how many bathrooms you need? I'll just go Always Sunny in Philadelphia style, just animal shit house. I'll just put that on the door. All right, more questions. Appreciate the questions. Let's see. DW Papa, I need to go to the fucking gym shaker cup. Any plans on making them? We have water bottles on the website. Shaker cups, maybe. Just got to look into that. Sometimes we don't have certain things that we're able to offer, and then it's going to take other types of planning and setting up. So yeah, that's a good idea. It's something that there's a lot of products that are on the list or that we have in mind in terms of developing. So that's on the list too. Because we do have water bottles on the site, but shaker bottles are definitely a little bit different. Andrew, what are some terms someone should be aware of or know before going to the fucking gym so they aren't overwhelmed? How many sets you got left? How many sets you got left is another word for get off your fucking phone. Okay, stop texting on the machine. I want to jump in. I got shit to do. So I don't know what terms. T-Bone, what's your teeth care routine? I have a bamboo toothbrush, and I usually put some like warm water on it, brush my teeth, or I'll use a little baking soda, kind of like dab in a little baking soda, brush my tongue, whatever, spit out. I'll put some organic coconut oil in my mouth, rinse it around, floss. There you go. That's it. And that's what I do. Every time I go to the dentist, they're like, keep doing what you're doing. Teeth are great. They're getting like better every time. So it's really about what you're doing to your teeth. Yeah, flossing's important. You can use one of those like water picks too. I have one of those things too, where you put the water in. Sometimes it's a little bit weird. I just make a mess with it. I'm like spraying it everywhere. I don't really know what I'm doing. So I'm like, all right, I'll use like the standard like bamboo floss or something like that. You want to make sure you're not using a lot of like shitty things, in your mouth, plastics and stuff. You try to want to minimize that. It's hard to find bristles and things that aren't nylon and stuff like that. But anyway, just baking soda, not all the time, because that could be corrosive or that could be irritating. So if your teeth get sensitive or something, with mine really don't, but you can just brush, because the brushing is just the physical getting the stuff off. And if you're eating fruit, you're eating steak, chicken, fish, eggs, you're really not going to get a lot of stuff stuck in your teeth. You really won't. A lot of these things break down. They don't compact in the teeth. Like, I know what you call it, like inside. When you eat a cracker or something like that, and it just packs in like smooth. It just like, fills in like clay. That's what corrodes the teeth. So goldfish, saltines, chips, all that stuff, that's what really fucks up, because that's sugar. It's just ultra processed foods, and it's packing into these little cracks and crevices and allows for bacteria to thrive. So when the foods that I'm eating, I really don't get, what am I going to get? Raw dairy? Am I going to get kefir stuck in my gums? It's also really good probiotics. So it also does neutralize a lot of the bad bacteria, just overall. And of course, when you have improved gut flora, it improves your breath and your mouth health and things like that. So that's what I do. Very simple. And I would maybe look at it again or adjust my teeth care routine. But every time I go to the hygienist and the dentist, they're like, looks great. So keep doing what you're doing. All right, I'll keep doing that. So baking soda, coconut oil, flossing. All right, let's do Daily Swole Telegram chat for the question. Katie Simmons, Papa Swollio, in the elimination diet, why are we cutting chicken? Is it inflammatory? I used to eat it a lot, and I have cut it for a week and a half and added more grass-fed meat and turkey, and it has given me the runs. Maybe the chicken was bad for me. We'll see when I add it back. It's probably just the increase in fat. I don't know why you'd be getting the runs. It could be the turkey. It could be something that you're cooking it in. I don't know what you're cooking the meat in. Quality matters. If you're getting pasture-raised chicken, corn and soy-free chicken, you can have it. I would just not recommend run-of-the-mill, over-the-counter. Chicken's just a less clean meat. You just have to find it. You can definitely find good sources, but you need to make sure that you're getting good sources of chicken. So you can find it. You can get pasture-raised chicken, corn and soy-free eggs, and corn and soy-free chicken. So if you find a place that sells it, then it's a good option. If it works well for you, then okay, you can add some more into your nutrition. But, it's just harder to come by, but you can find it. You can find it. All right. Alan says, not 100% sure, but I think if your accountant is worth a shit, you might be able to deduct some of your home gym stuff, Papa. Business deduction against income from the Swolenormous X products. Dude, of course. Of course I can deduct. Everything's equipment. Absolutely. Of course I can. Of course, these are all business expenses. I use them in videos. I use them to create content. Absolutely. All the home gym stuff. I had 0 tax classes in my accounting degree, though. So absolutely. Absolutely. Anything you spend money on should be used for deductions and abso-fucking-lutely. Absolutely. 1000%. Papa gonna be getting those deductions next year. Very excited. We'll see. Victoria. Papa Swollio, what is it about stevia you don't like? One, tastes disgusting. Tastes absolutely fucking atrocious. And it's well known to disrupt the gut biome and cause like intestinal distress. I don't recommend any artificial sweeteners. Eat some fruit, have some raw honey, have some raw, like fresh maple syrup. You can order this stuff. You can get quality sweeteners and you're going to get like beneficial minerals and vitamins from these things. You don't need these artificial sources. And just so you know, anytime you see natural flavors, and we're like, oh, sweetened with natural flavors, that's like, they don't have to list what those things are. There's tons of artificial crap in there. They can just call it natural flavors and they put all sorts of shit in there. It's gross. Let's see. You got to ask yourself, why are you putting stevia in there? What are you trying to cover? Why are you trying to make it so sweet? Because it tastes like shit? Why does it taste like shit? What are you trying to what are you trying to feed me? What are you trying to trick my brain to make me think that it's sweet by adding tons of this crap? Stevia is gross. Create poetry forever. All right. Papa Swollio, when I'm progressively adding heavier weight to my strength training, I've heard adding 5% each time as long as you can maintain good form is optimal. Is this a good approach? It doesn't matter. That's just an arbitrary number. You might not be able to add 5% every time. Maybe sometime it's 10%. Maybe sometimes it's 1%. This is why I recommend people, track your workouts. So for me, if I'm trying to aim for 5 to 10 repetitions to failure and I did 200 pounds for 7 reps, the next time I do that exercise, the next 5 days or next week, whatever it is, I want to do, if I said 200 pounds for 7 reps, I want to do 200 pounds for 8 reps, or I want to do 205 pounds for 7 reps. I want to increase the volume. I want to increase the amount of reps I did with a given weight, or I want to increase the weight and do the same amount of reps approximately. So this is why I recommend people get fractional plates. You can get them online. You can type in fractional plates. You get them from Rogue. You get them from, I think Microgains is a company. There's a bunch of companies, and you have to get the ones that are 2-inch wide if you're using Olympic plates. And I have weights that are a quarter pound. So I have 0.25 pound plates. I have half pound plates. I have 0.75 pound plates. I have 1 pound plates. So if you're doing an exercise, you can add a pound. It doesn't have to be 5 or 10 pounds. Unfortunately, a lot of gyms only have as low as 5 pounds. Some don't even have 2.5. So then you have to go up 5 pounds on each side. And for a lot of exercises, especially if you're doing like skull crushers or curls, like that's just too much. It's too much of an increase. You'd be doing 10 reps, you go on 5 on each side, and then all of a sudden you're doing like 4 reps or 3. Like it's just too much. So an increase is an increase. So it doesn't have to be 5%. That's just an arbitrary number. So remember, progressive overload is not adding more weight. Progressive overload is creating a stimulus, recovering your body, adapting over time so you can do more weight the next time. So it's all the things that lead up to the progressive overload. A lot of people just think, hey, I'm going to add more weight, and that's the progressive overload. No, that's the overload. The progressive overload is what you do leading up to the point where you're able to put more load on the next time, which is progressive, which is more. So progressive overload just means you're adding more over time, but that's because of all the steps that you take in between sessions after you create the stimulus, then you recover, eat enough protein, sleep, etc. All right. Joe Gann, Papa Swollio, to avoid dying while training to failure. Always a good idea. Death is not good. Well, I wouldn't say it's good or bad. Death is a part of life. So, but dying while you're training is not a good idea. It's not ideal, I would say. No progressive overload if you're dying while you're trained. Papa Swollio, to avoid dying while training to failure on incline and flat bench press, I have incorporated pin press. Am I losing any benefit in using this method? So I'm assuming you mean you putting like the safety bars up. You can train to failure with safety bars. If you have a spotter, you can get like a forced rep, but if you can't do any more, you could also get some partial reps at the bottom and then rack it, if that's what you mean. So I would just use that as a safety. Do as many reps as you can to absolute failure. Maybe get a couple partials at the bottom and then let it down. If you can get a spotter to get a couple forced reps, that's great. But safety bars, especially if you're in a half rack or a full rack, use them. Like, you should not be going to failure with free weight exercise, especially barbell. Dumbbells you can drop. You have to be more advanced, and I still wouldn't recommend it. You want someone spotting you. If you're going, you can't look, if you don't have a spotter, like, you're not going to be going to as close to failure as you possibly can. You're not going to get those forced reps at the end. You're not going to be able to maybe squeeze out. You're getting up here and you just need a little bit of a boost. So, I mean, you can go to failure, but if you're trying to go push through and beyond and maybe like squeeze every last drop. But dumbbells are safer if you're doing pressing movements and things like that. They're just safer because just don't hit anyone with them. You don't want to damage the waist either, but you can always bail. If you have a bar, you can get trapped under it. So yeah, definitely. Anything to avoid dying, it's a good move. Papa Swollio, when is it? Pedro, when it comes to eating, is it okay to skip breakfast?
I've contained my rage for as long as possible, but I shall unleash my fury upon you like the crashing of 1,000 waves! Begone, vile man! Begone from me! I am untethered and my rage knows no bounds!
Sugar water. Lindsay Jacobs. Can we do an early FEF? We can. Speaking of FEF, I'm about to tap that ban button next to Pedro's name. About to lose that wrench, biatch. I offended my husband's sister when I was looking for leggings and all the models on the website were in the 300 club. I said, how am I supposed to find clothes with whales?
Emotional damage.
Save the whales. Save the whales. You offended your husband's sister. Well, it sounds like she needs to go to the fucking gym. Sounds like she needs to be offended. She should look in the mirror and be offended and take care of herself. You can absolutely FEF that twat. Ali Jabber. Or Jaber, Papa Swollio, I've heard a rumor that there's gunpowder in most junk food. Is that true? I wouldn't doubt it. Don't forget what I forget exactly what gunpowder is made of. So it might have the ingredients of gunpowder. I don't know if they literally put gunpowder in. Because what's gunpowder powder made of? Maybe there's certain chemicals that if you isolate them, that might be why people explode out their asshole when they eat this shit. Because you're literally eating, it's exploding out your butt. Arjun, Papa Swollio. Hello, Papa Swollio. Would you enlighten me on how to improve my deadlift? Thanks, Your Eminence. Arjun, AP, you know exactly how to ask me a question and get an answer. All right. How to improve your deadlift? Well, I don't know where you're at, so it's really hard to. It's really hard to give you improvements when I don't know. Do you have any idea how to deadlift? You'd have to take a video of you, from the front, from the back, definitely from the back. I'm just kidding. From the side, so you can make sure that you have good form. Make sure you keep the bar close to your body. Are you talking about an RDL? Are you talking about a standard deadlift? What I will say is that a lot of times people try to do an exercise just because everyone else is doing them and doing the way that everyone else is doing them. You can elevate the bar. You can put the bar, it doesn't have to be from the ground. So if you have issues with flattening your back, strengthening your hip flexors, strengthening your ankles, strengthening your knees, practicing mobility in those areas so you can get a nice flat back. But then also you can elevate the bar so you can have a more advantageous pull. But when it comes to bodybuilding, depends on what your goal is. When it comes to bodybuilding, there are better exercises for hypertrophy than deadlifts. There are better exercises. It depends on what your goal is. A lot of people have this religious belief about deadlifts, which I haven't done. And look, I've done RDLs, but deadlifts, like from the ground, deadlifts. Sometimes when I'm doing heavy hip thrusts And afterwards I'll stand up and I'll do like a deadlift to lift it back up. But I have not done like standard, like from the ground deadlifts in a while. And I've been making consistent progress. I've been making awesome fucking gains. So it really depends on what your goal is. But yeah, you're not going to get better at deadlifts without doing deadlifts. But I would recommend a hip hinge movement like an RDL. So you're going to get, in my opinion, you're going to get much better benefits from hypertrophy and from like the posterior chain by doing a good RDL for the glutes and for the hamstrings. I just think you're going to get more out of it because that's a great movement. So that's kind of like deadlift adjacent. No, RDLs get their own love. They got their own category. All right, let's see. Derek, Papa Swollio, 4 weeks into swole season and loving the gains. What is the 2-arm burnout exercise on Pull Bravo? Haven't been able to find the GIF on the site. I have to look at it, my brother. I don't have the answer on top of my head. It might just, I'd have to see it. I have to see what you're referring to. It should be self-explanatory. Is it just like the 2-arm? You mean like the curl? I'd have to see what you're referring to. So maybe post that up in the Telegram chat too. In the Swole Fam Telegram chat, we can check back in on it. Mondays during the accountability meetings, I'm more than happy to like load all that up and go into it a lot more. Also, we have the roundtable tomorrow. So Derek, we also have the roundtable tomorrow. So if you want to like make a note of like any questions, and we can like discuss those things tomorrow night during the roundtable too. I just don't have time right now to like go and load up the program and stuff. If anyone else knows off the top of their head, I know I write these programs, but there's like 5 programs and they're like 20 week. Like there's a lot of stuff and there's so much stuff in X. I don't want to miss it unless I know exactly if I haven't looked at it recently. Pop has more plates than a Greek wedding. Ooh, I got a lot of plates. I still need more plates. That's one thing that I didn't realize when I started buying like commercial gym equipment. I didn't realize how many plates I would need. Seriously underestimate how many plates I would need. And because I want the plates. I want the plates on the machines. I don't want to carry them from across the fucking gym. Some machines need like 16 plates to be effective. I'm like ordering plates all the time. I'm like, shit, I'm like, how the fuck do I not have 10s? I'm like, how do I not have 10s over here? I'm looking around like, where are the 5s? Why are there no 5s? I know I have 5s. I just don't know where they are. And then I look, I'm like, okay, there's a couple on that machine because I don't re-rack my weights. I don't take the plates off the machines. I leave them there because then I already know what I'm using the next time. It's awesome. That's the benefit of having my own gym. So I can leave the plates on the machines. I don't have to re-rack them. But then I'm like, each machine needs its own plates. It's intense. Oh, it's a 2-arm dumbbell curl burnout. Yeah, just dumbbell curl. Boom. Just make sure when you're doing dumbbell curls, by the way, just make sure when you're doing dumbbell curls, you're not pulling all the way up. You're not bringing your arms forward because then your arms are resting. Like keep your arms back, bring them up about 90 degrees, maybe slightly above. Keep your forearms parallel. The leverage decreases tremendously when you go higher. You don't need to. Amelia Dubois in the Telegram chat. Maybe last question. Let's see here. Papa Swollio. Hey, Papa, I've mentioned before that I have alpha-gal syndrome. That's my worst nightmare. So I'm always worried about my nutrition, severe allergies to mammalian meat and some byproducts. What do you think of nutrition level blood testing? I'm thinking of getting checked out. Then go for it. What do I think about it? I mean, I don't know it depends on what they're testing. There's a lot of different tests out there in wellness centers and things like that. Sometimes blood tests are beneficial for that, but other times you'll know by testing it, consuming it. Because sometimes testing things in your blood, what they'll find is certain antibodies or maybe things that might be contraindicative for like what you would eat. But I know sometimes people have gone to those, hey, what foods? They go to an allergy test and it doesn't pick up on all the things or it gives them weird answers. So it depends on what they're testing and what you're looking for. And as long as you keep an open mind and you can afford it and it's might give you some information on something that you need, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. Just wanted to know if you think they are trustworthy. I honestly don't know enough about them. I personally like the approach of blood work, and certain types of those testings are great to see if you have like chronic low levels of certain vitamins or minerals. And then you might know, hey, I need to eat more of this. I need to eat more of that. I should supplement with this. But in terms of the allergy things, I mean, we do a lot of that just, hey, let's test these things out. But it doesn't mean you can't get good information. I just don't know what exactly that they are going to be testing. And if there's any reviews or feedback on those tests, are you getting it done at a certain center? Or are you getting blood drawn somewhere and then sending it away? Feedback is going to be important. Cerny, that's what happens when you have 500 machines in your gym. I do not have 500 yet. I don't have 500. Yes, that's what happens. I'm not complaining that I need more plates. I'm just saying I'm impressed at how many plates you need. Barrett, when I do RDLs at 285, I have trouble going all the way because I keep the bar too close to my thigh. That's not a problem. Should I lower the weight and do more reps to failure? I mean, failure is failure. Failure is failure. So you want the bar close to your body. What you need to do is it could be your grip position. You also want to drive the hips back. Make sure you're driving the hips back. Once your back is not able to be flat and have that curve in your lower spine, once you start to round, you've gone too far. If anything, you need to improve your mobility, but you don't need to go further than that. Then you're just putting pressure in your lower back. So chances are you're doing too much at 285. That's a lot of weight. That's a lot of weight. I mean, I do more. I mean, when I do RDLs, I might do, 335, 345, something like that. But failure is failure. So if you're failing at 15 reps or you're failing at 7 reps, you're just failing. You're failing. And that's a hypertrophy range. You're just incurring more fatigue by doing 15 reps. You don't have to do 15 reps. So you go heavier and do 7 reps to failure with quality form. If you can't keep quality form and fail at 7 reps, and guess what? You're going too heavy for that 7 reps. So if you can't keep good form for whatever it is, then you're going too heavy. If you have trouble going all the way because I keep the bar too close to my thigh, that doesn't make sense when it comes to RDLs. So your form might not be ideal. Drive your hips back. Your bar should be close to your body, but it shouldn't be on your thighs. So you just might be guarding and keeping it on your thighs because it's too heavy for you to lift. A lot of people go too heavy too quickly on these exercises. And RDLs are one of those exercises where you don't go to failure. You'll go to failure, but you're like the last one, you're not going to push the same limit as when you're doing, let's say, a pec deck machine or any kind of machine or a hack squat where you can go to failure and bottom out. Like, you're going to go to failure, but it's a lot of load and it's a risky position. So you're better off maybe doing RDLs are usually something that I'll do 2 sets because I'm going to failure. I'm going close, but it might be one of those like 1 RIR, which is rep in reserve. So I'll usually go even to the last one's really hard, but I don't necessarily go until I can't do another one. I don't like to go to absolute limit of failure. I'm not going to struggle and can't get it up and then drop it. I'll probably stop maybe if the last rep is ooh, I might have one more. That's really if I might have one more, but the form is going to be then I'll stop and I'll do one more set because then you get two sets of that pretty close to as close to failure as possible. But it's just a risky position to go to partial reps and stuff. You're not going to literally. T-bone Capone, potassium nitrate is one of the ingredients of gunpowder, also found in most charcuterie boards. Charcuterie boards? Is that what you're talking about? That's right, Pedro. There's also a difference between an allergen response and food sensitivities. Could also be gut permeability. Yeah. So, remember, when you're eating a food, when you're testing the blood. When you're eating a food, it's going in your system. It's going, you're processing it differently. So it depends. I've seen people do those allergy tests and it says they're fine. They eat it and they have gut distress. It's a big difference. Okay. Fame. Let's get into, what do we got here? Balls deep. Time for some BD. Good questions today. Good questions, Beaches.
That's deep.
All right, everyone hit the thumbs up button. We got a lot of good likes. We got a lot of good thumbs up. Right now, we got more likes than viewers. I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan of that. So, if you haven't hit the thumbs up button on YouTube, even if you're watching on the Daily Swole, load up YouTube, hit the thumbs up button, and then dip and go back to the Daily Swole Telegram chat. But I like that. We're matching. That's hot. Let's get into Let's get into some stories. We do have an article. Let's kick it off.
What's in the box?
Let's kick it off. There is hope. There is hope, fam. Moment. Hundreds of Pennsylvania high school students walk out after school board said transgender students must be allowed to use whichever bathroom they choose.
Everybody knows you never go full retard.
Except the facility or the faculty at the Perkiomen Valley District. They went full retard. So the school board said transgender students must be allowed to use whichever bathroom they choose. That is fundamentally fucking insane. You're a man, use the men's room. You're a woman, use the women's room. It's not complicated. Your feelings are not required. Your feelings don't matter here. It's where we can put our human waste so people don't get sick and we're not shitting just everywhere. Enough with the bathrooms. Seriously, enough with the bathroom stuff. Go into this place. Go into this room. Take a shit. You're taking a piss or a shit. That's what it's for. We don't want people shitting in the hallway. We don't want people shitting in the classroom. Here's a special room where people can pee and poop and get that fucking human waste out of their bodies. That's it. Oh, my feelings. No one cares. Go to the bathroom. Seriously, go to the fucking bathroom. That's it. Okay? You can do your therapy. You can do your anything for your mental health outside of school time. This is learning and shitting in these rooms. Learning is questionable nowadays in public education or whatever it is. But high school students staged the protest after officials opted not to adopt a policy that would force students. I love that. Force students. They opted to not adopt a policy that would force students to use restrooms which correspond to their biological sex, aka their boy or their girl. Force students. You're a boy. You have to use this bathroom. Oh yeah, you're being forced. Yeah, you're being forced at gunpoint to use the bathroom according to the fucking junk you have between your legs. I love how that they opted not to adopt a policy that would force students. You mean logic and common sense? Just make logic and common sense mandatory. They accused education chiefs of compromising their rights and putting female students at risk during the demonstration last week. Facts, all facts, all facts. Allowing men in female spaces is compromising their safety. We know that. Right? When you put these bullshit men in women's prisons because they say they're transgender and they're usually sex offenders and stuff, and they rape women in prison and get them pregnant, it's because they're men. They can say they're women. That's a mental disorder or just a complete grift and a lie. The policy was proposed by a local father, Tim Jagger, who said his daughter had become distressed after encountering a transgender student in the bathroom, aka a man. A boy was in the women's bathroom, and she should be. As a father, I would lose my fucking mind. I would lose my fucking mind over this. If my daughter is in the bathroom and you have this dude come in, that is absolutely fucked up. There's no safe spaces in this world. But can we agree that a bathroom should be as about as safe a space as you could possibly get, right? We're not a fan of the term safe spaces, but going in the bathroom, you shouldn't have to worry about being attacked or assaulted. You shouldn't have to worry about your personal safety when you're trying to take a shit. Why do you think your dog, right? When you're walking your dog and they poop, right? And they're looking around and you're standing there, they're looking like, okay, you got my back, because they're vulnerable. Animals, like humans, are vulnerable when you're going to the bathroom. Right? You ever like go outside, dudes, like go outside and take a piss, or when you go in the bathroom, your dog comes in and like turns sideways, right? Rufus comes in, he'll like turn his back to you, like I'll be peeing and he'll come in there and like almost hit the back of my knees. He's caused a little sprinkle tinkle. He's caused a misfire a couple times because he'll like bump into me. I'm like, dude, not when I'm pissing, dude. Anyway, let's see. Board members voted against the bathroom ban. I love how that's like a bathroom ban. It's not a ban. It's common sense. We're not banning bathrooms. What are you talking about? I love how voting for common sense is like, we're banning the right, or we're banning students being forced to use the boys' room. What the fuck? Sparking fury among some parents and students. High schooler John Ott, who organized the walkout, told Fox News that female students were upset they didn't want men in their bathroom. Wow. Mind blown. His mother added, this is about protecting our children and our privacy and boys and girls. It's simple biology. I agree. I agree. Common sense. Common sense. Bring common sense back in 2024. Please. Please bring that common sense back. You know what to do. Vote better, people. Make a better choice this time around, please. Save the country. I mean, it's really going to start. It's going to start with this. It's not going to start with a presidential election. It's not going to start with the government. But this kind of stuff is important. Having kids walk out, speak their mind. Yeah, absolutely. I would not go back to that school until they remove that nonsense. Parents just need to homeschool their kids. Get that shit out. All right, let's do a video. We got a funny one. We'll do this funny one. We'll do this one. I'm pretty sure this is true. We checked, and a lot of news outlets are reporting it. We know that the news is kind of sketchy. But this was so funny. I'm like, this has to... I wish this was from The Onion. I wish this was a joke. I just think it's real. And the thing is, whenever you're watching a video that's from a local news channel, local news is so cheesy in terms of like their editing and the way they talk. It almost seems like satire. You know, it's not like... It's local news is always kind of like, is this a skit? I can't tell anymore. But check this out. I think this is legit, so you guys can look into it. But it made me laugh. It's got to be true because it's so fucking ridiculous. We're tearing down statues of like Washington and Lincoln, but we're going to put up this stuff. This shit, literally. Ready?
There are concerns tonight about being raised about an AIDS memorial planned for downtown Palm Springs. Right now, the sculpture is planned to look like this. These pictures you're seeing here. Some people don't like it. News Channel 3's Jake Rossi live in studio with more on the controversy and possible changes in response to those concerns. Jake.
It's a butthole.
And John, it is a 9-foot sculpture plan for a Palm Springs park meant to remember lives lost to HIV and AIDS. But the design doesn't resonate with everyone. In fact, some call it inappropriate. Also the view that it too closely resembles other things.
You hear it called the donut all the time.
Chocolate starfish.
The word can't say on camera all the time.
For some on social media and beyond, the design resembles an inappropriate body part on the rear end.
The backside of the proposed memorial looks like a graphic depiction of the backside of a human being.
It's become a laughing stock. Because it looks like what it looks like, you know, it's become a joke. And that's the last thing we want.
Bullshit. Oh, it's become a joke. You decided to make an asshole statue. This is going to be a joke. This is why is this real? Google it. I don't know. See what I mean? I'm like, is this legit? Well, you get AIDS from the butthole. Of course, you can get AIDS other ways, but when you don't wear a parachute and you stick it in the butthole, you get those micro tears. You're gonna get the AIDS. You're gonna get the HIV-vizzle.
I arrive in America's airport with clothing, US dollars, and a jar of gypsy tears to protect me from AIDS.
It says Palm Springs. That's California. Yo, look at that butthole. It said Palm Springs. Look at the butthole. I mean, to be honest, I think it's actually the same size as a lot of a lot of buttholes in the gay community. Get it? Because of butt sex? Get it? Okay. Too soon? Too late. It's actually probably the best memorial possible. I mean, Trump got roasted from stating that, you know, the Kung flu is from, you know, China. Why do you insist on calling it the Chinese virus? Because from China. Because it's from China. One of the best fucking quotes of all time. Because it's from China. Yeah, this is pretty much it. Spanish flu makes sense. The Wuhan flu, the China flu, yeah, pretty much is. It's from the location. This is pretty much, this is the AIDS statue. It's descriptive. Right? We call it the albino whale eye, I suppose. The Eye of Moby. Instead of Moby Dick, Moby Hole. I don't know. Yeah, Landon says this should just be California's state monument at this point. Yeah, we should just change the state flag to a big asshole with like Gavin Newsom's face in the center. Okay, thought that was really funny, and to be honest, it's pretty accurate. It's pretty straight. It's pretty dead on. I think it plays. I think it plays. Mommy, why does I look like a donut? Well, I'll tell you when you're older. Okay, we got time maybe for another one or two. Pick a number, 1, 2, or 3. 1, 2, or 3. Drop in the comments. 1, 2, or 3.
What's in the box?
Oh, by the way, we have a Swole Fam card. Hashtag Swole Fam for a chance to win today's Swole card. And remember, we're going to talk a lot more about it. But if you are ready to submit your story to or for the Swole Fam project, go to send your email and pictures to team@swolenormous.com for the Swole Fam project, team@swolenormous.com. And we'll be talking a little bit more about that. We're going to make a page. We're going to make a website for that, or a web page for it, and then it'll describe and give you a little more depth too. But if you have your story ready to go to team@swolenormous.com to send your email. And we are looking forward to reading your story and featuring your story. Let's get into Andrew. Andrew says number 2. Andrew, number 2. Number 2, Andrew, number 2. Let's see what we got here. What's in the box?
What's in the box?
All right. People with eating disorders have thin privilege. Oh, that's interesting.
It is thin privilege, and even if she does binge and purge, she still has thin privilege regardless of her eating disorder. Especially when people who have eating disorders who are thin are treated 10 years faster than fat people.
I don't even know what that means, where you're getting that data from. 10 years faster? Come on, that doesn't even make any sense. That's like saying that 200 years ago, the average age was 30 because of infant mortality. Like 10 years faster? Come on, stop saying stupid shit. No one cares. This is what identity politics is. You are the way you look. You are your physical attributes. Nothing else matters. Like if you're black, you're oppressed no matter what. If you're white, you're I don't know, you're an evil person no matter what. If you're fat, you're victimized no matter what. Everyone's against you. If you're thin, it doesn't matter. If you have cancer, you have thin privilege, right? So anything that can be leveraged, and this target will change whatever suits these victims. That's what Marxism is. It's class warfare. It's the oppressed versus the oppressors. So it doesn't matter what the situation is. It's always going to be manipulated to be an other. So it's always going to be A versus B, red versus blue. It's always going to be that no matter what it is. You give an inch, they're going to want a mile. You give a mouse a cookie, he's going to want a glass of milk. These people are going to want your fucking soul and want you on a pike if you don't say what they want you to say. It's the same thing. It always ends in death eventually. Down the line, it always ends in extermination and death and gulags and concentration camps. That's what it leads to.
When fat people have eating disorders, we are not believed. It can take as long as 13 years to get diagnosed because of fat phobia.
What?
Whereas when a thin person has an eating disorder of some kind, it can take them under 3 years to get diagnosed, which is faster because of thin privilege.
3 years is faster than 13 years. Whoa.
Wow.
Holy shit. 3 is less than 13. Yeah, it takes you 13 years to get diagnosed. What does that mean? Seriously, what does that mean? As you are just being unapologetically morbidly obese.
People get diagnosed more. But regardless of her having an eating disorder or not, she still has thin privilege. Mind you, I don't care if she has an eating disorder. That's not my business because her body is not my business.
Yet you're saying she has privilege. But her body is not my business. As I shit all over her eating disorder and say that she has privilege because okay. All right.
I never commented on her body in the video. I talked about myself and just duetted her for a physical example of the comment section.
I'm sure you talked about yourself. I'm quite certain you did.
At the end of the day, regardless of her having an eating disorder or not, people who are thin and have EDs still have thin privilege.
Okay, we're done. No. No more words.
Bitch.
No more done. All right. So, speaking of who could benefit from an eating disorder, that's not nice, Papa Swollio. Look, some people need to shut their fucking mouths and just do like a 90-day fast. I wish that some of these fat activist warriors would watch the show or would listen to the content and understand that they're in control of this. They have much more control than they think they do. They really do. You do an elimination diet. I'm not talking about some stupid calorie restriction. Yeah, that works. And yes, that's going to be the outcome, but that's not the primary focus. You focus on food quality, lifting weights, getting sun. Like, imagine if like the Swole fam, if we were able to like go into her apartment or house, if we could fit, and then like remove all the things that are known to be toxic, known to be endocrine disruptors, get these people off birth control. They don't need it, but like it's interrupting their hormones, like all these things. Dramatic improvements could be made. No question. Dramatic improvements. Are you going to look like, I don't know, a supermodel? I can't guarantee that. I'm not saying that's the goal. It's not about getting thin. It's about changing your habits. You're going to lose fat. All these people wish they were not morbidly obese. They want to not be morbidly obese. They just don't do the things that will lead them to not being morbidly obese. They're not. They're not doing it. They're digging in and they're creating this false sense of purpose to be fat activists, to be capitalism, anti anyone who's thin, just playing the victim. These oppression Olympics, this Marxist movement, it's really bad. It's really bad. All you have to do is do things properly. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to do things wrong. It's okay. Most people, how many of you have tried in the past, before you found the Swole fam and started doing things properly, how many of you have done a stupid diet? How many of you have done something that didn't work? You did some sort of dietary approach because we know that it's not just, let me eat this. It's what's in the food. It's all your other habits. It's how you're surrounding yourself in terms of community or environment. How many of you did some kind of like off the cuff, I'm going to eat this way, and it didn't work? Probably 100% of you. I've done stuff in the past that didn't work. I just don't sit around, keep doing it, and then complain about how it's not working. How many of you? It's nothing to be ashamed of. Guess what? You're going to fail until you succeed. A lot of you have failed. All the stories that we read from the Swole fam Spotlight, Swole fam Project, all the Swole fam posts, it's all, hey, and then I found the Swole fam, and then I started doing the elimination diet. I started doing this, and it started working. It just started working because you finally did something with a foundational approach, and you looked at everything. You started addressing everything holistically, like everything in your life. All right, let's see. We're not going to do another thin privilege. We're going to end with this one. This one's parents' rights, because we talked about the trans stuff earlier with like the kids that did the walkout. So let's see. Positive Charisma raises the hand. Lindsay Jacobs, I was a vegan. Oof. I feel that.
Inconceivable.
Cerny says, been there, done that. Loretta, about every diet possible. SH, yes, I tried the chocolate diet 3 days and I thought I was going to die. Elizabeth T, I cut down to 1,100 calories. It was horrific. Derek did keto for a while, lost 20-ish pounds and gained it right back. Diets can work, but are not sustainable. I disagree. We have to start talking about diets properly. Diet is just what you consume. What you're referring to are the marketing aspect of a diet. So I like the term diet. I want to take it back. It's from the Greek, dietos or something like that. Like what the actual term diet is just really the sum of what you consume, is what you eat. I have a diet. We all have a diet. They all vary differently, but I know what you mean, Derek. Like a diet is like, I don't know, lemonade and maple syrup. Like we're talking about shitty diets, right? You do a diet that doesn't work. Guess what? It's not going to work. Just saying. So let's see. Oh shit, Positive Charisma. At 16, I was doing that disgusting lemon maple syrup drink. Alan says 90 days of no breathing would fix a lot of problems. Ooh.
He's on fire!
Ooh. Diet as a noun, not diet as a verb. Look at the grammar police coming in. Thank you, SH. Appreciate it. All right, let's do this one. Parents' rights. Which parents do have the rights? Understand a lot of these teachers, they don't want cameras in the classrooms. I think there should be cameras in the classrooms. I think it should be like daycare where you see everything. And if you're not ashamed of what you're teaching kids, or you're embarrassed, or you're trying to hide what you're doing, you should be okay with that. If you are a teacher, especially in public, anywhere, if you're an instructor, if you're a teacher, and your kids are underage, I think they should always be under video supervision. We have body cams for police officers. We should have audio and video in every classroom. It's not complicated. It's not expensive. Put a couple GoPros, stream, very easy. So every classroom should have that. And if there's nothing to hide, then it wouldn't be a problem. Anyone that disagrees with that, oh, I don't want that, then you shouldn't be a teacher. There's something sketchy going on. Why don't you want that type of feedback? Then everyone can see. Then guess what? Teachers are going to be on better behavior. They're going to actually teach properly, or they're going to do better. And if not, they'll have complaints, and then maybe they'll get removed. It doesn't mean that like any complaint's going to get, like if a parent is like, I don't like this and I don't like that. You can have parents that are just annoying, right? You can have parents that are just annoying, that are just like, there's certain people that just complain about everything. They're just people that will complain. But if you're teaching about gender ideology, if you're teaching kids about like the 1619 Project and all this fucking bullshit lies, then parents should know about it. It's their kids, okay? And it's their money that's paying your fucking salary. So this is why the government's way too big. This is why the Department of Education is a disaster. This is why it should be done locally. This is why it should all be done locally. There really shouldn't be any government involvement with educating children. It's really fucking sick. There's a lot of unconstitutional things that we have in our country that we've just like given away. And I think this is the beginning of like people taking it back. But you can homeschool. A lot of people maybe with inflation and the economy and the job situation, if we bring more jobs back to the country, we can have a better improved economy. And then people will be more able to, homeschool their kids or give children. But you can also have communities. You also have local communities that will, teach other kids in groups. Like you'll change from like person to person, and different families or different parents will take kids for certain subjects or certain time periods. So communities are very important for that, but it's very important for kids to get a good education. And really, they're not really getting educated in schools. They're getting indoctrinated. I remember school. It wasn't too long ago for me. I remember. It was a lot of like stuff that wasn't necessary, that I don't remember, that didn't apply to anything. The school just gets you ready for more school. And then after you graduate college, it's like, okay, let me get my first job. What should I do? I don't know what I'm doing. You shouldn't be figuring that out when you're 22, 23. That's too late. You should be interning. You should be apprenticing. I had jobs since I was 13. So I knew how to work and I exposed myself, but it was more like, which is great, but much earlier than that, 14, 15, you should be doing things and testing out different areas of like interest. At that age, you're able to apprentice. You're able to, I'm interested in carpentry. I'm interested in plumbing. I'm interested in an electrician. I'm interested in law. Like you can figure this kind of shit out at that age. You can start really leaning into those interests because you're starting to become really like those final stages of your identity development. Like you can really, and it'll teach kids a lot of confidence to be around adults. It'll give you a lot of insights. And then if you do need to go to higher education for those things or trade school, then like how I never knew that that's what plumbing was like. Then you go to trade school, you're not in a ridiculous amount of debt and you're out making six figures in a couple of years. So there's a lot of good things that we should be doing. It should be more effective. It should be more geared towards the bottom line. The way we have it now is not preparing kids for life. It's not. It's indoctrinating them, getting them in debt, and then throwing them out on the street with a bullshit degree. And they're just grown up babies. Trust me, they're grown up children. They're just babies. They're adult babies. That's why we have so many problems, because they've been handed out everything. They've been protected. They've been shielded. And they're out in the real world. It's not the way it was inside these indoctrination camps, AKA public schools, college. And then all of a sudden, you're scared because all of a sudden you're vulnerable. All the tools, all the things, all the work, all the late nights, writing papers and essays and this kind of stuff is just irrelevant to what you're doing for the vast majority of people. It's just irrelevant. Absolutely irrelevant. So then you're upset. You're scared. You're in fear. You're upset. Then you want handouts, right? Then you want UBI. Then you want, oh, just give me things, because you desperately need things and you don't have any skills. You don't have any real value to the world. You're just dropped out in debt and you have nothing to show for it. It's very, very fucked up. It's very fucked up. And yes, if you homeschool, you shouldn't have to pay the taxes. I agree. This is more like the libertarian argument, right? I mean, you put into what you want to put into. Okay, we didn't watch this. Okay, so this is it's called Parents' Rights, but this has to do with like the trans shit, I think. The comment on the screen says, it's not anti-trans, it's for the parental rights. They're our kids. Fact, right? Your children should not be subjected to anything, especially if they're minors, anything that you don't want them subjected to. In school, they should be educating, not indoctrinating. But of course, the Marxists will say, oh, you're anti this. It's like saying, you look beautiful today. And then the woman or the male or anyone will be like offended because you didn't say that yesterday. What, I didn't look beautiful yesterday? You didn't tell me that yesterday. Just because I told you you're beautiful today doesn't mean I thought you were ugly yesterday. Right? Just because you say, okay, we're parents, we need rights for our children. Like that just should be a God-given right. And then, oh, you're anti-trans. No, that's not what I said, you idiot. It's not what I fucking said.
No such thing as parental rights. It's not recognized in law.
What?
No such thing as parental rights.
There's not such thing as parental rights. This is one of those people that could be sent to an island to fend for themselves with like large primates. Like this person has like, what business do you have in a society? There's no such thing as parental rights. What a sick, twisted fuck.
It's not recognized in law. It's not in the charter. It doesn't exist.
It's not recognized in law. You do realize law represents the moral rights of every human being. That's what the Bill of Rights is. That's what the Constitution does. It protects natural law. Okay? Just because it's not in the law doesn't mean that it's... Okay. Okay.
Children's rights, however, are recognized and have been for a very long time. Parents have responsibility, which is recognized in the law, but no rights.
That's incorrect.
Your child does not want to tell you something about them, that's your problem, not the government's, not the school system's. Maybe you should ask yourself why your child might not want to tell you whatever it is your conspiracy brain thinks that they should have to.
Oh, this guy needs to eat a steak and stop with like the soy protein. What a fucking cuck. Aside from that, aside from the male feminist bullshit here, what a soy boy. We do have one point. Yeah, parents should have open communication with their children. But of course, if they're being brainwashed at school, it's very hard to have that kind of communication. If you are your parents, you're both working like one or two jobs, your kid goes to school for 8 hours a day. They're just being brainwashed. They come back home, they're on their phone or they're on their computer. They're like Disney movies. Like they're just being pounded. It's just the equation. It's imbalanced. They're getting brainwashed all fucking day and they come home. This is why it's important to have strong community, whether it's local, like your local church, whether it's, local family, community groups, your local street, sports activities, homeschooling, like absolutely nonsense.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
The problem with, I don't know if this person's an instructor. If so, loses his job immediately. You do not have rights that supersede the parents. So this doesn't make any sense. Parents' rights, like, yes, parents are guardian, yet you are in charge of your child. You own your child, essentially. That's your child. It's yours. It's not yours, right? Lefties, communists, they don't have their own children. They have yours. So they want to abort babies, but they want to manipulate and control your children so they can brainwash the next generation. But they don't want to have them themselves. They just want to They want to kill off theirs, which is fine. I don't think we want these people reproducing, but that's their choice. And then they want to manipulate yours. So, yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. Lindsay nailed it. They are literally telling kids not to trust their parents because they won't accept them. The only way that you can take control, this is what totalitarianism is. You take control by separating the family, by separating and alienating people. This is why COVID, or the lockdowns, I should say, during the pandemic was so fucking savage, because when you distance 6 feet, you separate people from each other. They didn't have that connectivity. They didn't have that emotional connection. They were in constant states of fear. You separated families. You had people ratting on each other, neighbor versus neighbor, family split apart, especially with like the political stuff. When you separate people and you eliminate and you distribute and you decentralize people, it's easier to control them because you have more, you have heightened levels of fear and anxiety. And many experts are talking about how this trans and the gender dysphoria is just puberty anxiety. It's just kids that are going through these changes that are super, oh my God, what's happening to me? And they have all these feelings, and kids are getting like, emotional. And you remember that 6th, 7th, 8th grade when kids are just really nasty to each other because all the hormones and stuff like that. And then you're telling them that they're different and they're, this, and you're telling them that they're trans. You're telling them that maybe they're not a boy or a girl, and you're doing this since they're 3, 4, or 5. And you have this, you're just kind of separating and increasing the alienation of kids. And then these kids are being, let's say, bullied or picked on. And then you have these teachers that are saying, or trying to bring them into the fold and enforce these ideas upon them and saying, well, maybe your parents don't understand. And these are at these ages where kids start to like either go towards their mother or go towards their father. You start having this independence and this identity crisis. So it's like puberty, like you don't know. It's an interesting, crazy time. I can't imagine going through that. I remember 6th or 7th grade and 8th grade. It was nasty. Kids were nasty. Like you had the bullies really starting to like come around 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade. You really started having those, like, that's like the sweet spot to have social media, to have all this sketchy shit. So when you affirm this kind of stuff and affirm any of these kinds of behaviors and affirm the alienation of the family, it's just easier to manipulate. Once you separate and you turn them on the other, and kids are susceptible. That's why you're supposed to teach them, not indoctrinate them. You're supposed to educate them and keep their creative thinking, not just tell them what to do. When you tell kids what to answer, what to think for 20 years, this is why they're graduating from college and they're like, where am I? They're a newborn in a world and they have no fucking skills because they're indoctrinated by teachers who teach. We need teachers. We need educators. We don't need teachers. We need educators. A lot of times you have these educators that never really did anything but educate. So it's like, what life experience do you have? You're just educating the same old shit. You have people in business degrees and business schools, people that never owned a fucking business. They're reading out of a fucking book. It's like you have a lot of teachers that don't have any real world experience. They've always been in school and they graduated and they went back to teaching at school. They've lived their life in a fucking school. That's why I call it, it's like an incestuous relationship. You have teachers that have always been educated and always been in school, and they've always been teachers and they've always been to school. And you have people that grew up through that and then they become teachers. And you just have this generation after generation of people that have always stayed in this bubble. Savage. Let's see. SH, my coochie gets wrecked from childbirth. My boobs are saggy from breastfeeding and my house is full of their toys, all paid for by me. Those are my kids and I have authority over them. Oof.
I will rain down an ungodly fucking firestorm upon you.
Saga boobies. Chris, I have a 3-year-old and 11-month baby. Public school scares the shit out of me. My kids are so happy and loving. I pray that they don't change due to their schools. This is why raising them properly and having a close relationship with them, homeschooling if you can. I mean, I think more people can do it than think that they can do it, or I don't know, you got a little bit of time, but do the best that you can. Do the best that you can. All right. Swole card time. Hashtag SwoleFam. Here we
What's in the box?
All right. Scroll. I see butthole comments. Scrolling. Oop, I almost banned someone. Missed on 2. Drop in the chat again. Scroll. I almost hit the ban button. It's like, you sure you want to ban? Like, no, I don't want to ban anyone. For the butthole. All right, we got a winner. Jack, to the main stage. Jack Taylor. All right, congratulations. Who would have thunk it? All right, JT, send us an email to support@swolenormous.com. Swole card 2693 in the subject. Your mailing address in the body of the email. SH says, scrolling. Teach your kids the difference between a secret and a surprise. Secrets should not be kept between adults and kids. Surprises are shared in time. Surprise! I'm not a boy, I'm a girl. I don't know. Sounds like that could be manipulated. I see your point. Oh, not the tainted cam. I see your point. Surprise! I'm a girl. Or maybe it's, hi.
Because of the implication.
The eyes, Chico. They never lie.
All right, we got a throwback in just a few minutes. Remember, tomorrow's our roundtable. Very excited about that. Roundtable 52. 52.
Well,
Tomorrow,
I could
6
be
p.m.
wrong, but I believe diversity is an old wooden ship that was used during the Civil War era.
Now, once you've had sex with the woman, she will naturally start to depend on you, okay? All women do this.
I didn't like him anyway. He wasn't right in the head.
So I'll take the tea without the covert diabetes delivery mechanism, please.
I don't work with the males, because I used to be one.
A jelly donut?
But I want mayonnaise! I want mayonnaise!
Ooh, a little strong hand.
I better use my strong hand.
Emotional damage.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by go. You know the thing.
You know what's crazy is that soundboard from Slow Biden. As much as he was retarded then, like he actually could speak. Like it sounds more like he's degraded so fast. And people in 2020 were like, no, he's fine. He was dead in 2020. Just amazing the difference. Coast to coast. All right. Like, you know the thing. It's so much worse now, even though he couldn't speak then either. He was already like on the back. He's been on the back nine for like 40 fucking years. Okay.
A newt.
Let's get into it. We got the tainty man. Look at this boy. Look at that man. Aww. Look at that tainty man. He's covering his taint like a gentleman. Look at the cuties. Look at the cute tainty boy. Look at the tainty boy. And there's no church today. There's no church today. But look at the tainty man. Look at his big old pupper paws. His flappy ears. big fluffies. These are big fluffies. Woo, woo, woo. He's a big, tainty man. All right, throwback time. Throwback. If I could turn back time. If I could make a gains. Holy shit. Here we go, fam. Throwback. 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 All right. Septum piercing, by the way. Shaved head. Oh. Rainbow shirt. You got all those things check marked off. I'm sure we got a bunch of acronyms in the bio.
I've been on and off of diets pretty much my whole life.
And it hasn't
And
worked.
weight cycling is part of the reason I am the size I am today.
Go to the gym.
Weight cycling has nothing to do with it. You eating garbage foods and doing shitty diet. That's what has led you to where you're at today. If you choose shitty diets, they're going to fail 100% of the time. Like, there's a lot of ways not to make fire until you find the way to make fire.
The thing about diets is that they don't work.
No, not if you're good at it.
I went vegan.
Well, there you go. Vegan is not the answer.
I did intermittent fasting.
Bullshit.
And I worked out once a day. And I lost 80 pounds. But then...
Until you stopped?
I gained it all back.
Okay, I lost 80 pounds and it was great until I changed my fucking habits and then destroyed my health again.
Because weight cycling causes you to do that.
No, you started stuffing your fucking face again. Oh, you stuffed your face. Oh, but you stuffed your face. Yeah, well, I got results when I was doing things for, I was getting results for a little while. Let me crank up this hog. I love it. I was getting results for a little while and then I stopped and then I gained all the weight back. You don't say. You don't say. You got results for a little bit and then you stopped and you got fat again? Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Fam, thanks for being here. Tomorrow is our roundtable at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Join us, swolenormousx.com. Otherwise, we will not see you tomorrow, and you want us to see you tomorrow. I want to hear from you. I want to have a conversation. Get access to all the programs, yoga studio, so much more. Everything we have inside swolenormousx, including the greatest fam in the realm. Join us, swolenormousx.com. We'll see you at the roundtable mañana. Information on your Get Started series and on your homepage. We'll talk to you then. 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Peace McGeese, Deuce Magoose. Oh, before we go, we also have overtime on Friday. So on Friday, we have an overtime segment. I think it might be a little bit later in the afternoon because I'm getting my beard done. I'm usually doing it on Thursday. So I think that's going to have to wait. I don't know if it'll be in early morning. It might not. Let me see what the time is on that. So it might be a little bit later on. Maybe we'll do it in the morning, actually, on Friday. So we'll see. But we'll talk about it more tomorrow during the roundtable. All right, fam. Friday overtime. Very excited. New Drive While Gaining, of course. And roundtable tomorrow, September 21st, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. swolenormousx.com. Stoked. Peace McGeese. Deuce Magoose. Ya boy, Papa Swollio. Out.
Crazy flow, need a straight jacket. Cash flow, I'm a bank addict. 6 subs, had the bass smacking. 808, had the place clapping. 3 girls is enough for me, so I pull out like the stocks crashing. Like an IPO, trying to purchase me. This a private sector, so you can't have it. Faking all that boom bapping. Who you think you is, boy? 90s want they sound back, so I give rap all these fake rappers as I take matters in my own hands. I don't need rapping, I don't need Zans. I don't need help, I'm a grown man. Now they king left and they so mad, it's like...
Yeah, I found that. Young king with my crown at. 10 racks in the fanny pack. Couple hundred in the Louis bag.
That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you laid. That's a bed that you laid. What kind of game is you playing? We go hard in the paint, yeah. What the fuck is you saying? I only go where they pay. What kind of game is you playing? Yeah, whoa, my shit is relevant, on topic, my melanin is popping. I'm taking skeletons on closets and making new deposits. I'm in my element, no ollies, you children pop.